All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Greenbox Gaming plays Delta Green Impossible Landscapes, and you are joining us for episode. I guess this is really episode 0 of season 2. We've left
Like epilogue of season 1.
yeah. Well, it's like epilogue slash like session 0 for season 2.
Wait, what are we playing?
Generals.
Yeah, we're playing Command and Conquer Generals again. That's Anyway, so
Okay.
how are you guys? Apparently, we're all super wiped out today. But how are you guys doing? How you guys feeling about old Delta Green? Your experience on the night floors.
See how you're gonna pull a whole hour's worth of content out of your ass right now.
Because as we all know, I'm not very good at making things up on my own.
That's
Well-
not true.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, so I figured what we'd do is first we just start with like just a quick recap of, you know, if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to season 1, which was the first operation of Impossible Landscapes, which is Night Floors, go back and listen to that. Just you can go ahead and stop this one, go back to the beginning, listen to it.
It
But-
might be confusing.
It might be a little confusing if you're jumping in right now. But for
You know what? It's probably self-standing. Each one will be equally confusing as the last, and probably more confusing than the next.
yeah.
So welcome.
Welcome. So, what do you guys think as far as, like, what are your big takeaways for what was happening, like, to your characters, or what do you think your characters, like, came out of the Night Floors thinking, like, basically what just fucking happened as they go into their, you know, back to their regular lives?
We've just been thinking about this constantly.
Just-
I mean, so
Just thinking.
the one thing I was thinking about is, so Hank technically didn't give away the book, the King in Yellow book.
Nope.
Did you have a copy?
Yeah, because I took it and I was about to read it the last episode as like some hell.
Oh, yeah.
thing for something happening.
Well, that's a good
So
question.
Hank still
like,
has that.
what's he doing? Just holding on to it?
Well, I think I think Hank's whole thing at this point is like, obviously he wants to put all this shit behind him, not thinking about it, but he's like still like kind of peeved, or like it's egging him that he never found the girl, and maybe he's like holding it, the book is like some kind of memento of sorts, I don't know, in hopes he can dredge up the case again,
And maybe
maybe in season 2.
maybe in season 2, yeah. What about Benji? What's Benji's
I
feel?
literally don't even remember what happened to Benji.
Okay.
I want to say
It's weird, that was the character you were playing.
Yeah.
he's dead to me now.
Didn't he went back to teaching,
Yeah.
and then he just found it was very joyless.
That's right. That's how
Yeah.
his trauma manifested. It was just like him confronting the horrors of everything that had happened, and like actually processing it, and it just made him feel like numb and joyless
Yeah.
as he delves deeper to this uncanny shit show.
Well, and then you've still got a copy. Do you still have a copy of The King in Yellow, or is that the one
Yep,
that Hank
yep.
has?
We got two.
surely
I think
we took
Hank
them from
bought one
you.
in the bookstore. Did you?
Yeah, we took those from you.
I remember you saying you did, but nobody ever made any rolls, and Benji wouldn't just hand them over. So
Ah, that's fair. You know,
That's a fair
Well, he-
point.
Benji didn't say, I'm not handing them to you.
Oh,
I think he probably still has them. To be frank,
well, I have one. I have the original, but didn't Hank buy a copy in the bookstore?
you guys received a copy in French.
yes, I took one, and then the amorphous hand came out of the darkness and gave it to Robert.
The French.
Wait, so do we have
Original
3 copies?
copy.
You should only have 2. I don't
think it's
know.
2.
I don't know what happened. Like so.
Can we photocopy the King in Yellow?
basically, like, Hank definitely has one. Maybe you have one. Maybe you have the French copy. Like, I really don't know if Benedict would have given a shit about keeping one. or not.
No.
But the
He
thing
just wanted
is
to take it from Benji.
Well, the thing is Benji also has those other books that you found. You have an English to Tartessian dictionary. You have, oh God, what was the one? A City Without Doors, I believe.
Real
Let's see,
page
I got them all on my character sheet. I'm pretty sure I've read all of them at this point. I think I took the time to read all of them.
Oh yeah,
read
the
all of them.
Russo-Germanic hegemony. So
Leroy on John, A World Without Doors, History of the Russo-Germanic Hegemony. And I think that's all of them.
Yeah. Well, what about Benedict? Like, is the plan to go back to the UK, or is he just gonna be kind of staying in New York?
I think he stays in New York, but there's much less keeping him there now.
Yeah.
He came out of that whole operation with a shard of glass from the mirror. The picture of Michelle that he squirreled away from her apartment.
Oh yeah, you've got a picture of Michelle, like stuck on the fridge.
He tenderly keeps it under his pillow every night. And then
Oh, no.
he took the vinyl Abby, and he listens to Abby every single night before going to
Every
sleep.
single night.
Every night. And now it's gotten bad. The magpie that he owns, Margie, has
Started to sing the song.
Yeah. So it's just constantly playing. It's getting a little bit.
Whatever happened to Abby? Whatever happened to Abby? Whatever happened to Abby?
Was this his first trip to the States? So does he just think this is the how everybody rolls?
This is just what it's like over here.
Sometimes you get picked up off the side of the road, and
The Yanks have a weird way of doing it over here.
organization.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, so if you guys have Roll20 up, and if you go ahead and pull up your character sheets, there's some stuff that needs to happen. But before that, I want to set a quick scene for you. It's a dark room. The floors are solid concrete, but a little moist, a place that doesn't have super good drainage. It's a basement, and there's the kind of cliche single light bulb hanging on an exposed wire just in the middle of the room, and sitting with their hands tied to metal folding chairs are 3 people. Each of them has bags over their heads. Looks like one of them might be asleep, and the other 2 are kind of muttering. One appears to be trying to communicate, and the other one is just kind of muttering and shifting back and forth in this repetitive pattern. One of the figures has a wound on their leg. It looks to have been some type of dog attack. And the one in the middle, who's trying to communicate with the one who's rocking back and forth, is wearing a name tag. It says David on it. We see the camera pulls back through the peeps, or the eye slot in a door, a metal door that slams shut. And you hear the sound on the other side. You hear people talking. They're like, well, I mean, we've gotten everything we can out of them, but I really don't know what Acel wants us to even do here. And it's just like you kind of see figures kind of moving in the darkness, and you see them standing over a table, never seeing their faces. And one of them says, "Yeah, I figure we probably got to cut them loose." And about that time, you hear the sound of a fax machine printing off, the dial tone spinning up, and a fax prints off. And you see the men, they both look at each other and look at the fax machine. They walk over. One of them picks it up and looks at it. He says, "Well, so much for cutting them loose." Hands it to the other one. He looks at it and he's like, Jesus Christ. Oh well, You wanna do it, or you wanna do cleanup? And the other man says, I've got this one. He stands up. You see him reach into the back of his pants and pull out a pistol as he walks towards the door
God.
with the
It's gonna
steel
save
eye
him
shutter.
so good.
And he opens, and he goes in. He goes, he says, what's static protocol anyway? And then exits. Blackout on the scene.
I was just thinking how much fun it would be if for the next part 2 of this, we played those 3 as the main party.
That would be good.
I call Michelle. I want to be the tank.
She's the tank, yeah. But yeah.
I think we did the right thing.
They're gonna be so happy wherever they take him.
In a better place.
Well, and
What a mess.
and so now we need to talk about kind of what else happens. And as you guys know, one of the mechanical things that kind of sets Delta Green separate from a lot of other games is there is this this idea of between missions, you guys have home scenes, which are things that you guys are doing like between big missions. Now, first things first, everyone, all 3 of you, now have one of the damaged veteran archetypes.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Now, Benji is already a damaged veteran. He was already a damaged veteran to begin with, because he took one of those archetypes from his interaction with the supernatural.
Robert Johnson.
And this is being weird. So I'm just trying to pull it up here. And I dropped the, in the Roll20, I dropped the Google Doc where the rules are.
So now we all have like 90% on unnatural.
No.
Like Benji.
Does Benji have 90%? Is he at 90% this whole
Something
time?
like that.
On what?
Unnatural.
No, I only got 15. You're probably thinking of a cult. I've got a 62 in a cult.
Yeah.
This
That's
occult
what I'm
is
thinking
very
of.
good.
Unnatural is you can only put points in that by experiencing unnatural stuff, right?
Pretty much the
Well, so we should have at least 5 points in that. Or Hank should.
yeah, well, sorry.
Asked and answered.
Yep, sorry about that. That is an opinion, I suppose. Now, actually, I'm trying to find the actual.
Yeah, I think I've got it.
Damaged
If your character is not yet part of Delta Green, you're done. But if you're playing a Delta Green agent, some past experience with unnatural forces brought you to the group's attention and made you willing to join them. Blah 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 blah. For more experienced characters, the handler may ask you to do this more than once. Then there's 4 things: extreme violence, captivity or imprisonment, hard experience, and things man was not meant to know.
Indeed. So I guess it's really kind of up to you guys. For Hank and Benedict, which of these do you think like really more applies?
Where did you find that, John? Is that in condensed rules or agent creation?
Agent's Handbook.
Okay.
It's dropped in the chat at the beginning.
That's a Google Doc for the home events. So yeah, so basically, you guys just tell me which of these do you think describes you better. Or like, has it described this experience for your characters, for Hank and Benedict? Exposure to extreme violence, captivity or imprisonment, hard experience, or things man was not meant to know?
Art experience was one.
Yep. Hard experience is basically kind of like this whole thing has hardened you, but decreased. It's like made you better at what you do, but it has severely affected your relationships. And that's the way that the trauma is kind of coming out. Sean, we're getting a little bit of static from you.
My side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did you turn your noise suppression back on?
I'll check that. Sorry.
Yeah. What do you think for Hank?
I'm gonna go with that.
Hard experience?
Hard experience.
All right, go ahead and add 10 to your occult skill.
Aha. See, I knew what I was doing.
So Hank has gotten a little more experience in just kind of what kind of is going on with the occult, and also take away 5 sanity.
Total? From
your total, yeah.
It's not good.
Does that put you at a breaking point?
I'm 2 away from a breaking point.
So it does.
Now you are?
Ooh.
Okay, so I'll give you...
Right now, I'm 2 away from a breaking point.
So if you take 5, you're going to go over a breaking point?
No. Right now, I've deducted 5, and I'm 2 away from a breaking point.
Bitch.
Also, let's take a look at Hank's character sheet. Let's take a look at Hank's bonds real quick. Only 2 bonds for Hank, isn't it? Oh man.
Boy's a bit of a loner.
Man, oh man.
But I mean, there's 5 people in one of them.
One of them includes a relationship with all 5 of his sons. You know, do you think you should get to choose which of these bonds is severed by this experience? Or do you think it should be random?
Random, I say.
Yeah, let's make it random.
Damn, he's
you're
gonna
really
throw
trying
away
to-
his least favorite child. Like, he can't choose that.
All right, so I'm gonna do a D100. If it's below 50, is 50 and below, you're gonna lose relationship with your sons.
All of them?
All of them. They're all in one. They're all one bond.
What about just James?
If it's 51, nope. If it's 51, nope, that's cheating. If it's 51 and above, man, Sandy at the Waffle House, you know. Just,
More for me.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. Oh man, you know what? Ever since all this happened, you went that one time to see Sandy.
69.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. But you really just couldn't get your mind off of Cindy from the records office, and but you've just been dealing with a lot, and so I'm gonna need you to remove Sandy.
Oh no! Not the Waffle House, Sandy.
Not the Waffle House Sandy.
She's mine. She's all mine. Get your filthy hands off of me, pervert.
You son of a bitch.
At least I still got my boys.
Not for long. By the way, how's your bond still 12 with them?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll deal with that later. Let's see.
Is
Okay.
that the max you can have for a bond?
No. Oh, it's. I think your max is still higher. So yeah. Let's see. Where was I? Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. So that is what you have, and also, you now get to add 10% to any 4 skills.
Crazy.
Got to be spread out, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Where does that come from? Is that just like into the mission thing?
Yeah, these are specifically the guidance for what happened in the home scenes. What happened between 1995 and where you guys are going is everyone has to take a veteran archetype.
Okay. I'm gonna put one. You said 4 10s?
Yeah.
All right, one's going to be an alertness because we got screwed with that several times. The other one's going to be in firearms, just in case we come across another civilian that's extremely adept at
That's
fighting.
very hard to beat up.
Um,
Can we go ahead and update our checked skills?
Oh yeah, you guys can go ahead and do that too.
I'm going to go 10 in persuasion, and then for my last, 10 in criminology.
Okay. What about for Benedict? What's Benedict thinking?
I think
Extreme.
Benedict gets the same. Like, hard experience makes sense.
Hard
I
experience.
was toying with whether the kind of captivity and the night floors and that whole experience would be imprisoning, but I don't think so.
I got you.
So I think just hard experience.
Okay, yeah. So add that 10
think
occult skill.
We did more imprisoning than being imprisoned.
Yeah, really.
Subject of imprisonment or imprisoner.
So yeah, go ahead and add 10 to that hard experience. Subtract 5 sanity.
Yep. Oh, it's getting close. Eh?
getting
He's
close.
50 sanity, breaking point's 48. So that's
Okay.
gonna be
Remove 1 bond.
You're two away too, huh?
Which bond is going here?
Oh god, so the 3 options. There's Judy, Margie, and Barlow. Judy the neighbor, Margie the
Yeah, because
magpie,
Jeremy's
Barlow the
already
brother.
gone, isn't he? You were supposed to
Jeremy's-
have 4, but one of
Haven't
them's
heard from-
gone.
Haven't heard from Jeremy in a while.
He just does not show up for work anymore.
Doesn't... I don't know what's gotten into him.
All right.
There should be some rule if you invite a bond along with the mission, you get advantages on sanity checks because your bond's with you.
Oh, that's
you
not
missed it.
that's not a bad
not
one.
bad.
That's not bad. Except Jeremy wasn't really with you guys most of the time. All right,
He did all the paperwork.
I'm gonna roll a dice. I'm gonna roll a d6. 1 and 2, Judy. 3, 4, Margie. 4, 5, 5, 6. It's gonna be Barlow. So here we go. Let's see what happens. That is a 1.
Oh.
Judy, your elderly neighbor.
Beauty.
No, it's just so that record that keeps playing in his mind, in his house, it just goes on repeat endlessly, and Judy just evaporates from his mind. And now he's just sat with Abby. It's just Abby. Doesn't even know who Judy was.
Man. Fucking Judy.
Remind me who Barlow is.
He's the brother, older brother from back home.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and add those 40 points. Spread them around.
Cool. I think we did a bunch of searching, so you'll get one there. Looked into history a bunch. Humint. So much humint. And then... Jeez. Probably hand-to-hand combat.
Okay. Now, what about Benji? Is Benji just gonna stick with the damage he's already got, or do you want to take on another one?
You can
Oh.
take on 2 damage vets.
Do
That's
you?
crazy.
If you want to take on another one, you can.
Yeah, I want to do it.
All right, he's gonna do it. Which one?
It just makes sense to go with Hardened since that's what they went with, I think.
All right, yeah.
I believe I've already got things man was not meant to know.
Right. So go ahead and take that 10% additional occult skill. Subtract 5 sanity.
That puts me 1 away from my breaking a point. Guys,
Nice.
we're not doing too good.
Go ahead and remove 1 bond, and let's look at let's look at yours. Let's look at old Benji Potts. Who does Benji even
How much
have?
was it? How much was it to occult?
10.
10. Do I get any to unnatural for Hardened?
No.
I want my money back.
So
Benji must be so good at occult at this point.
So Benji has Sandy, Skylar, T Model Ford, who's the blues, the blues musician, and Dr. Wendy Wright, who is your the professor you work underneath at
Yeah,
Juilliard.
my mentor.
So I'm gonna roll a D100. It's gonna be 25, 25, 25. Let's see what
And
happens.
I mean, story-wise, I think it's pretty clear it would be Skylar since he's the only one that I crossed. Does it have to be randomized?
It doesn't have to be. I think that's fair. I think that you're to say that you've really pulled back from your relationship with Skylar.
You miss one party and it'll just
Yeah.
go. it's
They
not a
were an
great
odd
friendship.
pair anyway.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
only using you for your because you did his homework.
And go ahead and add those 40 points. Kind of spread them around your skills there.
It has to be 10 in 4 different categories.
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm going to add 10 to occult, so I'll have an 82 now.
Jesus.
Nuts.
It's a really strong occult.
10 to unnatural, because when else do you get to add to unnatural?
Yeah.
What about swimming?
What about swimming? Let's do swimming.
Not enough people focus on swimming, you know?
All right.
What else? What else?
Or artillery. That could come in handy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I'm
We
gonna,
haven't swam once.
throughout all the Delta Green. Nope, that's not true.
Oh,
I
we
tried to
went
go
diving.
scuba diving in the lake.
That's
The
right.
lake that Joe is so against. He's like,
I wouldn't let us
There's
do
nothing
that.
in the lake.
there's jack shit in this lake. Get out, you moron. Stop wasting hours of my life.
For those listening, when we were playing Control Group, which is an incredible Delta Green book, by the way. It's
Really
so
fun.
good. It's a really great intro book. God, just Dace's character just had to go look in that pond.
Yeah, spoilers. Everybody should go to the lake and do a deep dive and spend an hour and a half there just to see the reaction of your handler.
And just
I
to
think
see
it was
what
worth
they do.
it.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing we need to do is, let's see. Dace, I'm getting a little bit of echo from you. If you could turn your volume down a touch. Let me see here. So yeah, if you use that link that I sent on Roll20. That will take you to the rules reference, and if you scroll on down to if you scroll down to page 13, these are the home rules. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you. So we need to do some home scenes that your characters engage with between the night floors and the next operation. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's a long time. In fact, it's 20 years.
Whoa.
We're moving from 1995 up to 2015. Each of you is going to have time, and we can play these out a little bit. Each of you is going to have time to do 3 home scenes. And that's what page 13 here is of the rules references, to kind of look at the home scenes, your choices. Each one of these, because this takes so long, because you guys have so long to work with this, it's 20 years, each one of these rolls you're going to have a plus 20 on, basically, because it's a long time that you have between operations. So yeah. Now, but before that, I'm going to let you guys know something else. You guys are all in the city of New York on September 11th, 2002. And the attacks on the World Trade Centers send the entire world, especially New York City, absolutely reeling. Especially for Hank as a member of federal law enforcement. I mean, it just turns his entire world upside down. Now, about a year later, in the middle of 2003, you guys are contacted by Agent Marcus, and he asks you to meet him at the same place he did before, in Madison Square Park. You were to give him the same passphrase you did before, which is to tell him he's going to be there smoking. You're supposed to walk up to him and tell him the passphrase. Do any of you remember the passphrase?
Yeah. It's what's your brand?
Nope. That's the response.
I was about to say,
It's
of all people, you remember that?
That's amazing that you remember that.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I think canonically, I think Benji shows up with it written on a sheet of paper, which is exactly the wrong thing to do.
Back of his hand or something.
It was it's something like you should quit those.
Yeah.
but it's
Don't
like,
you
I
know?
just
Don't you
can't
know
quit
that's
my
bad?
brand.
Don't you know that's bad for you?
Yeah, and then I just can't quit. I know, but I just can't quit my brand.
Yeah. So you go, and so again, and this is 8 years later. You have not heard from Marcus this entire time. You all show
God.
up. You all show up. Like, what? How are you guys looking in 2003? Like, what's? Is there a
Benji's
deal
gone
to
straight
you?
emo kid. He's got a studded black belt. He's got long hair. No.
It's in his
Say you
face.
change genres.
Yeah.
Hank's looking like, when you do a close up in SpongeBob and their faces are super ugly and leathery.
And
Grotesque.
like too detailed.
Yes, that's how his face has gone from an older man to a uglier older man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it has been rough. Like, it's just been constantly going. There's this new Department of Homeland Security thing, and it is just like federal law enforcement is like, you've seen more new agents come through the door in the last year, in the last like half a year, than you've seen your entire career. It's bonkers. What about Benedict?
I think it'll depend. Benedict, his stuff at work has been rocky, and for 20 years, keeping up that farce of a job, he's either very good at it, or he's become borderline, just like not even coping with life. But I think that'll depend on the home vignettes.
Right.
But he's just thrown himself into his work.
Well, I'm just so one of the things that happens is that you all are sitting there with Marcus, and he's like, all right, and Marcus, he looks he looks rough. Like as he sits down, you like the smell of cigarettes. I mean, he smokes, but it's like the smell of cigarettes is just thick on him, and it's like cigarette smoke and BO. Like, it looks like he hasn't shaven in a few days, and he looks rough. And he, as he sits down, he goes to light another cigarette and then sees that his pack is empty and just shit, and just kind of throws it on the ground, kind of angrily. He's like, all right, I need to talk to you guys. I need to talk to you about something that's coming down the pipes.
Marcus, you haven't aged a day.
Thanks, Hank. It's been rough out here. I was contacted by a contact I've had, with us, one of my contacts. They are, you guys know the whole reason our organization is to keep dangerous things under wraps, not just away from people, from like the common people, from from regular folks just living their lives, but we keep this stuff from falling into the hands of those who'd misuse it, namely the government. Any government, any corporation, anyone with power, they always want their hands on this shit. And they never do the responsible thing with it, which is to destroy it. Now, I had one of my old contacts reached out to me, found me, Don't know how. They said that they're looking for recruits. They say they're us. They say they're Delta Green. But I don't know. They're working for this new Homeland Security thing. I don't know, they've got their fingers in all sorts of pies, and the NSA and the CIA, and it's a bad deal, alright? But I wanted to... They invited us, basically. But I haven't given an answer yet, but like I said, guys, these people in power, they can't be trusted. They're already bad enough with the power they do have. Can you imagine what they would do?
Why are you even bringing this up to us if you're so adamantly against them?
It didn't feel right for me to just leave you guys in the dark. Basically, there's a new player in town. I don't know what they call themselves, but they're not us, okay? And if they reach out to you...
How do you know that?
Because that's not what we're about. We're not about, filling the Department of Defense with new weapons or intelligence apparatus, and that's not what we're about. We have to destroy this stuff. This stuff is too delicate, is too dangerous. Think about what fucking happened. And he looks around. He's like, back in '95. And he
Benji thinks about the copy of The King in Yellow sitting on his bookshelf back at home, and he's like,
yes, destroy it.
And he looks at Benedict. He's like, you ever hear from that PA of yours?
Jeremy he's a bit of a... and he just avoids it. He just trails off with
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Sweet diversion.
Listen. If anyone approaches you and they want you to join, this new thing, just be warned, okay? And watch your backs. Right?
Well, hold up now. Wouldn't it stand to reason that we would want someone on the inside of this organization?
I don't think that's how this works, Hank. These guys, they got feelers all the way up to the top. I mean, the frickin', as far as I know, they've got the president in their pocket. Like, this thing, my contact laid it out for me. This thing is already too big, too unwieldy. It's already a terrible idea. We need to
What
stick...
are they calling themselves? Is there a name associated with this group?
They're calling themselves the Program. And by the way, when he says the Program, you guys are reminded of a certain someone who you once encountered in the night floors 8 years ago. Michael Whitwer, who told you that he was a member of the Program, that he was Agent Vega.
and was his plane ticket for 2005 or 2015?
I believe it was for 2015. I will verify that quickly. But yeah. Yes, it was 2015.
So is this something optional? Are you trying to get the team back together? What are you saying?
No. We don't have. I haven't heard anything from A-Cell. We don't have a mission. But if these new guys approach you, they try to recruit you, they're not us. Okay, they have their own system. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're not us. Okay, just are we you guys aren't gonna join them if they come to you, are you?
I mean, the chance to work with the paranormal and not have to work with you, that does sound pretty tempting.
Yeah. Thanks, Benji.
He's of course, Benji's just joking. You can be assured that we will not do anything with this organization.
Oh, do you know the pay there, Marcus? You know the pay grades?
Like, what are we looking at? They have a benefits
What are we
package?
looking at?
I think they have an HMO. It's that's
Their benefits.
so Marcus will get up and leave at some point. I mean, so what I'm describing here is something that you as players may have knowledge of, which is some point after 2002, there is a schism between the organization that you served in 95, which is typically referred to as the Outlaws, and the other Delta Green, which is known as the Program. And to put it into perspective, the group that you were a part of in Wormwood Arena was the Program.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just you. That's for you guys, for your meta knowledge. Maybe it's not something I should have told you, but I told you nonetheless.
Other meta knowledge in that flashback scene at the beginning. Are we to infer that Asa Darabandi is involved with Delta Green?
From the flashback at the beginning.
Yeah. With the 3 people tied up, they said something about what does Asa want to do with them.
No, they said, what static
ACell.
protocol? Oh, ACell, yeah.
ACell, okay.
ACell, yeah, which
Shit.
is...
That changes
That
things.
was like a major reveal. ACell.
My bad. But yeah.
It's like, Darabandi's running this shit, dude.
So, during this time that no one ever reaches out to you guys. You guys aren't ever approached by the Program. But if you would have been, do you think you would switch over? Do you think that your characters would believe in the mission of, like, no, the government can't be trusted, we don't need this big system? Like, what do you guys feel about that?
I thought we were supposed to. I was trying to keep it open ended because I didn't know if we had to join them to continue the campaign.
No.
I guess if we're strictly looking at, I don't think Hank would. I mean, he's probably super old at this point. You know, jaded about all that stuff, probably.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
I think Benji would kind of be the same. I guess we don't really know what's happened in between now and then because we haven't done the home scenes.
Yeah.
But I'm just picturing Benji as like super gaunt and like sunken eyes and stubble. Like he probably looks more like an actual blues man now than he ever has before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just like extremely world weary at this point.
What else, Benedict?
Benedict doesn't trust any more organizations, even his own. He's become super paranoid, so he'd probably not want to sign up for anything.
Yeah.
He's taking notes and publishes this the next week.
Yeah.
This entire conversation.
So on to home scenes. Do you guys have an idea of kind of like what you'd kind of like to pursue? You can pursue something more than once if you want to. You got to pick 3 of them. Who wants to start? Does anyone have an idea already?
No.
Oh, I thought we had to roll to see which one we
you can
got.
pick. You tell
We
me
just
what
pick
you want
one.
to do.
Well, okay, it definitely makes sense for Hank, unless someone else wants to go first. The first thing that catches my eye is to stay on the case.
Okay. Wait a second. What was the bond that Benji lost? Skylar.
Skylar.
Okay. Okay. So you want to stay on the case? Actually, sorry, I keep getting ahead of myself. Before we do that, there is something else that you guys need to do. I need each of you to choose one of your bonds.
That'll be easy.
Yep, especially for those of you who I only have one. I need you to choose one of your bonds. And actually, this should be random. So for Brad, or for Hank, you only have one bond to choose. I've got really bad news.
Am I not gonna have a bond at all? What?
Things have fallen through with your children.
All of them?
They're all one bond, Brad. They're one contiguous unit.
Even James?
Even James.
I don't understand. What could possibly happen with every single one of the kids?
Will you tell me what happens? What happens?
What if you stood all 5 of them up in a row and just slapped them? One after the
What
other.
could possibly happen
With one
with
slap.
every single one of them? I'll give you James. But not-
No, you know what I think happens? I think that when John goes back, like talk to his brothers, like everything from there just deteriorates slowly. Right? That being said, you do develop a new bond in this time. What new bond do you think you develop in this time?
Okay, so I'm just getting a new bond.
Yeah. You can think
Okay,
about
I
it for a
guess-
minute if you want.
Let's say, what was the name of that lady? I didn't know her name for the
Cindy.
longest time.
Cindy.
But then Cindy starts to grow on me after she brings me cup of coffee and donut after donut, and
Dude,
finally I
and
learned
you-
her name. And
And
then,
you were ice cold.
yes.
Did you ever return that material?
I think you did.
Oh yeah, at the end of the, I did.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, so go ahead.
And then he ghosted her.
So go ahead and add. So what kind of relationship do you have with Cindy then? Is it romantic? Are you guys just kind of colleagues? You just kind of hang out? Is it platonic?
she brings me things and lets me rummage around down in the.
Where are we going with this?
Let's
Where are we
finish
going with
the
this?
sentence. Intrigued.
In the evidence room. That's what we call
Is
it.
that what you
No,
call it?
it's a real evidence room.
Yeah, that's some type of new slang. Well, so you guys are just colleagues then, or?
Yeah. No, nothing romantic. At least as far as Kank's concerned.
Okay. So go ahead and add Stacy on there then, and assign her a score of 12. So
Cindy?
Cindy, yes, my bad.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead and add her there, and but nuke your bond with your sons.
Okay.
Now, what about now for old Benedict? Benedict, let's take a look at this. You got 2 to choose from. Which one's it gonna
Margie
be?
or his brother.
Here we go. 1 to 2, or sorry, 1 to 50 is Margie.
Oh no.
Margie the Magpie. What
happened to
happens to
Margie?
Margie the Magpie?
Margie, seeing as though that song Abby is just playing on repeat all day, even when he's out
God,
for
yeah.
work, it eventually just drives Margie insane. And one day she just leaps from her stand. Benedict forgets to clip her wings one day because you have to do that to keep them from flying, and she gets flight back, but she just decides to slam into the window and breaks her neck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Fucking brutal.
No, like
Fully breaks her neck.
You come in and it's not even like she tried to fly out the window. It looks like she just flew directly into the
Just
wall.
went straight. Yeah. He's devastated.
Wow.
Now, what about so yeah, go ahead and zero out Margie, but you do develop a new bond. Who do you think? And you can think about it for a moment if you need to.
Yeah.
And we can move on to old Benji. Now, Benji Reno. Let's see, we've got 2. We got old T model Ford, and we got Dr. Wendy Wright.
Should be 3. Should be Sandy.
Sandy's 0 for some reason.
I don't remember deflecting anything onto any bonds.
Why is Sandy a 0 for you?
I don't even think we had a scene with Sandy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's right. Okay, I'm gonna put her back on there. She just had a 0 beside her. So you got 3 here. So let's do a quick roll. Let's roll a d6 and see who's gonna get it. None other than T Model Ford himself.
Oh god damn it! That's the one I wanted to save the most.
A loss to the Blues.
And you realize he was
community.
just a fan, and the fan mail being sent back wasn't actually T Model Ford.
Well, and the thing is T Model Ford actually in 2007, Mr. Ford dies.
And what year is it?
Well, it's just throughout we're just kind of operating throughout the entire span. But
Okay,
yeah, in 2007, T Model Ford dies of a drug overdose.
That kind of takes some of the sting out of it for me. At least he didn't reject me.
At
he
least
just
there
died.
was no rejection. Yeah.
Benji is heartbroken.
Yeah. Well, is there anyone you think that Benji brings up as a new Bond?
If Hank can have 5 sons as one Bond, can Benji have an entire fife and drum band as a Bond? I'm talking like 25 people.
I'm already regretting letting Brad have his sons at this point, so no.
These players
Is
taking.
this even actually part of this? Or is this a big
I give you guys an
oh.
inch.
elaborate plot for just to get rid of my sons?
No. Does Jean, do you have maybe you have an idea for a new Bond for Benedict?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Drawing a blank. I think it'll depend on work has consumed him. So
If you
it'll depend
if you
on what
want to
happens
if you
at
want to
work.
say if we want to take some time and you can kind of hash it out, but just go ahead and make sure and annotate like on your sheet that you have an additional Bond and it's going to come in at the same level that Margie was at, which I think was a 13.
Okay, cool.
Well, if you guys want to think about that, then we can go ahead and look at the home scenes real quick.
I've already made my choice and you shot it down. Where do we go from here?
You're just gonna have to live with that one, man. I'm sorry.
His Bond's now the backing band for T Model Ford.
Yeah. So, but Hank, you had said that you wanted to do stay on the case.
Yeah.
Okay. So, stay on the case for the home scene. And for those listening, for those watching, there's a list of home scenes that are like in the book of things you can do between missions. One of them is to stay on the case, to continue to kind of snoop around and to really stay on mission. So, let's see. There is... What is the... Crap, but I'm looking at this, and because we're not very good at this game, because I'm not very good at this game, I'm looking, like, what are you actually supposed to roll here? What are you supposed to roll against?
Let's see. What do you have here?
Oh, you can roll criminology or occult.
Yeah.
Or the power-hungry handler rolls secret.
Well. So I'd choose that, one of those. Criminology.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to roll this for you. I'm not going to tell you what you get. How's that sound?
Suspicious.
Suspicious.
Don't like it.
What's your criminology level?
60.
Okay. All right. So reduce. So you're staying on the case. Mechanically, one of the things that's going to happen is that you need to reduce one of your bonds by 1.
The late nights in the evidence room got to.
Yeah,
Sydney.
because you're spending more and more time. Who's going to take the hit? Well, there's only one person to take the hit, is there?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, Cindy's going to have to take that hit. Like there's some times where.
Maybe she didn't want you rumbling around in her evidence.
Maybe.
She practically invited me into the evidence.
So I think that the way this probably comes up, I think that Hank probably finds himself really impatient with her, like when he's like digging through the files of the old Asadera bonding case and stuff like that. She's like, she like brings you one of those big cardboard boxes. She's like, "Okay, I got this for you, Hank. Is this the right number? 13-44.
I said I wanted cream with the coffee.
you swipe the coffee off the table. She's like, and she just kind of puts it down. She's like, "You're gonna need to clean that up," and walks away. So yeah, and go ahead and roll a d6. Let's see if you gain some sanity. So it's 1d6 minus 3. So let's see what you get for sanity.
2.
A 2? Okay, so I think that means you actually lose 1 more sanity.
Oof.
What are you trying to do here?
Say again.
What are you trying to do to me?
This is the game, man. So, one of the things that you're digging, you tend to find that as you're going along, you're seeing a bunch of these pictures, and you're always kind of catching. You've seen a lot of weird things, and you guys have seen that not everything seems like time doesn't seem to work quite the same as it's supposed to. There is this picture of a man that you find at one point, and you swear to God that you can see him partially in pictures from all sorts of different cases and all sorts of different investigations. Like some of the investigations, like in Ace Bondi, like when they were photographing the scene of his fire, like you see the guy's face, and these are old photographs, like so it's hard to see, but you feel like you see this same guy showing up time and time again. He looks period kind of appropriate guy. He's wearing like a suit. He looks to be bald and wearing like a bowler cap. And you just kind of, he kind of becomes this mystery man for you.
It's not Mark, is it?
It's not Mark.
No.
What about Benji? What does Benji want to do for his first home scene?
Let's see. Definitely improve skills or stats, study the unnatural, and possibly special training.
Okay. Well, let's start with improved skills then. Go ahead and let's see. So go ahead and roll 2 stats or skills. So you can increase your stats or actual skills down at the bottom. So whichever you want to do.
Increase them by how much?
We will see once you roll them. So you want to fail the roll, basically.
Okay.
So it's harder
So
to raise skills that are already high.
I see.
Yes. So pick 2 skills.
Not stats.
No, you can also do a stat if you want. But you gotta pick 2.
What would I be rolling against if I chose a stat?
You'd be rolling that stat.
So I roll a d20, and if I
No,
have a
it's
15
it's the stat times 5. It should be on your sheet, like right next to the stat. There's a number.
yeah.
So yeah, you'd be rolling against like 50, 60, 70, 75, 65, 75.
Wouldn't it be easier to fail the roll if... Oh, no, I see.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Now I'm just wondering if it's more efficient to roll a stat versus a skill. I just don't know. You know what? I think just going off of Benji's life experiences fighting Michelle, I think I'm gonna do melee weapons.
All right.
I think he'd be rattled after that. He's like,
Damn, I need to learn how to take care of myself. I mean, sign me up for one of them judo classes
Yeah.
and get me a black belt.
All right. So
He binge watches Karate Kid because it was the same actor was in his favorite movie, Crossroads.
you're doing like Kali and judo, or are you gonna do unarmed and melee, or what are you gonna do?
oh yeah, unarmed is different, right?
Yeah.
Unarmed. Yeah, I'm gonna do unarmed instead of melee weapons. So do I just make an unarmed combat roll and see if
Yep.
I get over 40?
Yep. And tell me if you fail or if you success, or if you get a success.
I failed successfully.
So you got over your skill.
45 over 40.
All right. Add
Nice.
add 3 or roll 3d6.
Ooh. 3d6. That is 6 motherfucking teen. A 6 and a 5 and a 5.
Oh, add 16 to your
Damn,
unarmed.
Benji.
Really?
Also, need you to decrease one of your bonds by 1.
Okay.
Man, he's just in
Wanna
there
go with-
every day. Like you're talking about
Pumping iron.
You're talking about him getting skinny. Like it's just because he's just working his ass off.
Probably subtract 1 from Sandy, the diner waitress, because
'cause-
he just doesn't have the time to go see Sandy.
You're
He's
not
getting
eating a lot of
ripped.
greasy food. You know, you're focusing
eating a lot of
on
greasy
lean
food.
proteins and whatnot. Gotta get your macros.
Just following
right.
the way of the dragon.
Yeah.
Why
Are you gonna do a second skill?
Yes. I will. Let me see what I want.
You cannot do unnatural, by the way.
I really want to get my cult to 100, but I'm already
Jesus.
at 82. That would be like so lucky if I got that.
Yeah.
Right. You just rolled a 6, a 5, and a 5.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
All right. Tell me what you get.
Failure with an 86 over 80.
Wow.
All right. Roll 3d6. Jesus.
Damn.
So, by the way, an 80 is that you were like a world class expert at something.
Only got an 8 on that one. A 2, a 5, and a 1.
So that
But
puts
just
you-
the fact that I got any.
So that puts you at
I'm
what?
at a 90.
Okay.
Nice.
Benji's now the occult guy.
Nice.
All right. Subtract another one to your
You
bonds.
said an 80 in comparative to these stats that you're like a world-renowned expert at this?
He would be like one of the best in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeez. Benedict, what do you want to do for one of your home scenes?
So I was thinking, storyline-wise, Benedict probably in this time would have been very close to getting fired. Like, for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
Jeremy, his PA, doesn't show
It's
up
gone.
to work anymore.
Yeah.
He's just, there's no questions. And he gets asked, where's your PA? He's, oh, I don't know. Last time I saw him, he was helping me with some paperwork. He didn't show up the next day. So, I would say getting fired, but I guess there needs to be some kind of an upside, and there's nothing upside to getting fired. So
Well, you could do fulfill responsibilities, which is basically that you're just like working your ass off.
Okay. Cost nothing, roll sanity. So I was thinking of that. The other one is that with all of his exposure to the artists and actually going to visit the art lives office. Maybe he gets in contact with the Art Lives office. And he starts to understand how this whole art industry works, and he starts to get exposed to how, art is a great way to raise illicit cash. Especially blank canvases, they go for lots and lots of dollars.
Yeah.
So he may go and just raise some illicit cash. He doesn't have a lot to do. His life is not very meaningful without Margie, without Jeremy, and without Judy. He's just got his brother, so I think he'll go and raise some illicit cash.
Okay.
Everyone does.
As
you do.
one does.
So I'm gonna roll counting bureaucracy criminology.
Yeah, whichever one of those you want.
Alright. Gonna roll the bureaucracy. Do I get any modifiers? No.
You get a plus 20.
Sweet. Oh, critical success.
A critical success.
Nice.
One under 52.
All right, please roll 3d6s.
That is 15.
Double for crits.
Jeez.
You have enough cash on hand for 30 standard purchases. And we
Holy
will
shit.
so put that in your inventory that you just have the cash on hand.
30 standard purchases.
Yeah. But well
Okay.
there's a guide in the book, we're not going to get into it here, of like vaguely how much standard is. But basically you have a bunch of cash.
We can finally get that satellite that shoots a power beam down to Earth and destroy the big bad.
Orbital laser.
It's about time.
How many standard purchases is that?
All right. So let's try to bang through these other ones real quick. So back up to Hank. Like Hank, what's one of your second home scenes that you get into?
All right. Well, maybe Hank is feeling a little, out of sorts by his experience. So he's not much for therapy. Maybe he'll try therapy. To sort through some of this stuff he went through, and he's gonna be truthful.
You're gonna be truthful about you're gonna go in here and say, so I went on this crazy mission. I was recruited by a secret organization.
He's gonna be like, I haven't really done this before, but we got hired at this mission. This girl was on, and then this guy was murdering children in mirrors, and then we went into an alternate dimension, and that's when we met a boy that was now a man who flew here with the airport ticket that we found in the other house and got sucked down into a hole by a man in a mask.
How did that make you feel?
Just arches his fingers.
Well, I still didn't like James too much, but anyway, let me go on with the
it all
story.
seems to go back to James. Anyway, so you're sharing therapy and you're being very truthful and keeping in mind that the content of this specifically is quite dangerous. Do you mention anything about the king in yellow or like? So tell me about this yellow sign again. What does it look like?
Well,
It looks like this. Well, go ahead and
I've
do.
never been good at drawing. I'm not gonna do that. So what do you want me to
Okay.
do?
All right, so here's the rub. All right, so it says the role is either luck or the therapist's psychotherapy skill.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
I'm just gonna ask you what you want to do. Do you want to trust that this just goes well, or do you want to trust on the skills of your therapist?
Also, you roll at a 20% penalty.
Bonus.
If I do the luck.
If you do
If I do the luck roll.
Well, the luck roll's just a luck roll, though. But you know, I'll still give it to you. I'll still give it to you because you have so much time, and that's kind of the instructions of it. So,
What do y'all want to do? Go with the psychotherapist or luck?
You can roll the dice.
And so I get a 20%. I just rolled D100, right?
yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Tell me what you get.
29.
A 29. That is a success.
Huh.
All right.
Okay.
Roll 1d4 and gain that
That could
sanity.
have gone very poorly.
Yeah. 1d4, you say?
Yep.
1.
Gain 1 sanity.
Nice.
Does that just go back into your sanity points?
Yeah. What about
Oops.
what about Benedict?
I think the natural progression is after all this illicit cash gets raised, he's gonna squander it.
He's gonna squander it. Yeah. All right. So roll either a an accounting or a luck roll.
Oh my god.
Are you?
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. Joe,
Yeah.
it said 1d6.
Did it?
Yeah.
Go to therapy.
I'm assuming I
Save.
got
Oh,
the
I'm
success.
sorry. I was looking at the one for not sharing truthfully. Yes, 1d6. So re-roll it. Take your
Fuck.
D6. Is it 1 again? Oh, nice. All right, so let's talk about squandering that cash. So basically, God, I'm gonna have to pull out the book for this. So you're gonna squander the cash on either an what is it? An extreme or major expense. So need you to
Orbital
roll,
laser.
Orbital laser needs you to roll a either an accounting or a luck roll.
1d100. Okay.
Let's see. Which one are you doing?
Luck.
Okay.
64.
That's not a pass.
That is not good.
All right. Go ahead and roll a d6.
Two.
All right. Remove 2 from one of your bonds.
Oof.
As
Did not go well.
the spending of this money really probably attracts the wrong kind of attention from one of your bonds. Did you figure out your new bond yet, by the way?
Yeah, I think the new bond is going to be... He takes home a small pigeon that he met in the park with a broken wing
These fucking birds, man.
to replace Margie. And he was sitting there just feeding it crumbs while he was alone listening to, well, just thinking about the Abbey song all day and all the people he's lost. And then he saw this pigeon and it appealed to all the things that he'd lost in the past.
Yeah.
So he gets Papua New Guinea the pigeon.
Papua New Guinea is the name of the pigeon. I love that. What kind of thing do you think that you're gonna squander that money on, by the way? What is Benedict like?
Jeez. He likes collecting keepsakes, so I think he's going to try and commission an artist with all of the connections that he made before
Oh, okay.
to get this illicit money. He's going to commission an artist to do a sculpture of Michelle. Like a
Oh, that's
beautiful
weird.
sculpture from that photograph.
Oh, that feels
Like,
bad.
create a little
This-
bust in his
feels weird.
apartment.
This is unhealthy.
This feels weird.
And this is where Papua New Guinea sits. Papua New Guinea sits on this bust's head.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay, cool. Roger that. Go ahead and take off 10 of those standard funds you have.
Money well spent, I say.
Right.
He just stares at it with his hands on his hips.
It's great.
Uh,
All right. What about Benji? What's Benji's second home pursuit? Do you think?
so talk to me about special training and study the unnatural, because it doesn't really say what you get and what you risk.
So this is really this is really a weird one, because studying the natural is going to require you going someplace and doing some things. What do you want to do? Do you want to study the natural? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I think what is it called when professors take a leave of absence to go
Sabbatical.
study? Is it a sabbatical?
Yeah.
So what if Benji did a sabbatical and went to, like, I don't know, Turkey or something, to study folk music that is kind of like the blues, and he just, like, takes in, like, he finds himself in a similar position, and he finds, like, where the music is, like, tied to dark arts or something, and he stumbles into some trouble there.
All right, roll me an occult roll, you son of a bitch.
Let's go to occult. Critical.
Jesus Christ.
Under 90.
Jeez.
You find your...
Makes me happy.
I'm gonna say that you find yourself not in you find yourself in Istanbul.
Istanbul. That's where I wanted to go. That's where Prague is, right?
Is it?
Am I wrong about that?
Prague is a whole different place, isn't it? Anyway, you find yourself in
I'm an
Istanbul,
ignorant
Budapest.
fool.
and you
Okay.
find yourself in like searching through, and like in like meeting with people in back alleyways and paying and bribing people to let you into like secret meetings and whatnot. And
Maybe they're like seances that incorporate music as part of the rituals.
right, like I imagine like very like a sitar like music going on as like people are like like holding hands around like a seance table kind of thing.
Speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
Witches are getting naked.
The
Tits
problem
hanging out.
the problem is though is that everyone else is having these experiences, it's like it's kind of hard to tell, what's drug induced and what's not. But you keep seeing over and over out of the corner of your eye, sometimes at the table, in the reflection of a crystal ball or something, you keep seeing this image of this clown. The same clown that you saw that first day in Madison Square Park. And you continue to delve and you find out more and more. A lot of it is kind of just of the occultic stuff, and you can kind of tell where it came from. But every now and then, you're here in this place because you remember that in this book about the Russo-Germanic hegemony, that was about the invasion that came out of Turkey, this thing called the Black Wind.
Yeah.
And you find history going way, way back, and you find mentions of these cities or these places. What is it? Is it Yathil? You see Carcosa every now and then. You hear it whispered on the wind. So that's Y''THILL for you. So go ahead and roll a D4.
All right, 1D for.
You know what?
Wait,
I'll let you roll a D. Do it again. Roll a D6 because you did get a critical.
Well, now you're just making up rolls.
Well, that's
I rolled higher on the D4 than I did the D6.
Okay. What'd you get?
On the D4, I got a 4. On the D6, I got a 3.
Take the 3 and add it to your supernatural. Supernatural's
So wait,
hard to build.
Wait, unnatural?
Unnatural, yes.
Okay.
Unnatural, supernatural.
Benji's worked on himself during this time.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a great way.
So, who's the new Bond you meet while you're in Turkey?
Oh, I think he would have his first ever romantic fling.
Yeah.
I think he lost his virginity to a Turkish girl. Let's look up generic Turkish girl names.
Okay.
Turkish girl names list.
There's got to be some
103
zingers in there.
fascinating Turkish girl names. I'm gonna go with the first. Ooh, no, I like that one. Zara.
Zara.
Zehra.
Yeah, go ahead and add
Zara.
Zara to your bond list. She's the one that replaces T Model Ford.
There is no replacing T Model Ford.
All right, back up to the top with, is it? Oh yeah, back up to the top with Hank for your last home scene.
Well, I guess since he lost his bond with his 5 sons and all that, and they don't really care for him too much, he finds himself kind of in between doing his job and looking at the investigation and going to therapy. He decides to kind of do something good and like work in a soup kitchen maybe a couple times, but he meets 5 men named Jethro, Jonah, Jude, Julius, and JJ. And he just feels sorry for them, and he says, I got
Joe.
plenty of soup back at my house. Why don't y'all just come on with me and we can hang out, you know? And that's what he does.
Joe fully just has his face in his hands.
Weeping.
So you now have a group of 5 homeless people living with you. They're your new bond.
I just invited them over, you know, and if we get along, they can stay for a little bit. If not, no harm.
All right, make me a charisma roll. Let's see what happens. I hope it fails, you son of a bitch. I hope it fails so bad.
Okay.
Wait, also you take a plus 20.
Critical.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's amazing.
The most important critical
Oh
of the game.
my god. All right, normally you take the bond with half of your charisma. What's your charisma?
13.
13. Go ahead and put your bond with these guys
Yes.
at 10.
Nice.
What are their names
yeah.
again?
James
Win for
Bond.
Nick.
Jethro, Jonah, Jude, Julius, and JJ.
Jesus Christ. Alright. Okay, good. You've got new bonds to deflect sanity damage on. Alright, Benedict.
God, that's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, man.
I think he's just gonna work on himself. He's gonna try and improve his skills. He wasn't very good at what was he not good at? He wasn't so good at. Every time he wanted to find out if somebody was doing something right or wrong, he just could never figure it out. So I think he wants to work on his human, if that's possible.
Okay, you can spend some time with some investigative journalist, you know, who are used to kind of getting the read of people.
Yeah, he'll probably go and attend that same soup kitchen and just watch people going in and out and how the attendees kind of find their homes with new people.
Yeah.
And he thinks he sees Hank there, but
No, it can't. That Hank would never be here. All right, go ahead and roll that skill. Then you want to fail the skill, and you get a plus 20. Wait, so you get a negative 20, I guess.
minus 20, yeah.
Yeah.
Failure.
All right.
86 over 56.
Roll 3d6. You guys are getting super lucky, man.
That's
I know.
a 14.
I think we've turned.
14. Add 14 to your.
Nice.
What are you adding that to? Human.
Human, yeah.
Okay. And also remove.
Human is up.
And remove 1 bond score. 1 from
Okay.
one of your bonds. And then you have another.
Robot becomes a little more human.
And then you have a one more skill.
So that's now, wow, okay. Human is up to 70.
That's good.
Nice.
I mean, we're doing pretty well aside from almost going insane.
Right.
A couple points away from being
Well,
insane.
remember, crossing a sanity threshold is not the end of the world. It does complicate
Oh,
things.
it's not?
Well,
I thought that was a death sentence. Okay.
Here's a
my bad.
question. How much sleep do we get over, I don't know, 20 years or so?
why?
'Cause you
Can approximately how many
regenerate
times you
70
roll?
points after sleeping, right?
No. That's not how it works.
No?
Nope.
Oh, fuck me. All right.
So what's your other
the other
skill
thing-
you want to do?
I think searching. He really wanted to find something. I don't think he found a single thing on that last
Yeah.
expedition.
Well, a
So
really
he's
good
gonna
way to
go
build up
search.
that skill is to go to Madison Square Garden and try to pick up all of the loose hypodermic needles lying around.
He tries that. He also steps in. There's a pond there, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
He goes into the pond and tries to pick up some of the pennies
Yeah, yeah.
because he's looking for a particular one. Fails. 73.
All right.
Over 33.
Take that 3d6 and subtract 1 from a bond.
So roll another 3d6.
Yep.
11.
Yep. Man,
Sweet.
what's your search at now?
44.
That's not bad.
And things with Barlow aren't going right. It seems like
No?
Benedict has become very attached to this weird new pigeon that Barlow sees in his home, and like barely even pays any attention to Barlow when he comes past.
I imagine Barlow's like, so I see the statue's still here. Thought you said you were gonna get rid of it.
Oh no! don't be insane, man.
Yeah.
For the love of my life.
A
She'll
lot
come
of
home to me one
pigeon
day.
shit in here.
Legitimately a health violation, health code violation.
What about Benji? So Benji, you get back from that trip. I would say about this time is probably when, in 2007, is probably around this time when Model T dies.
No.
Yeah. And and you
what
would
is-
and you had probably interviewed him a few times and whatnot. So it's like you have a relationship with him, you have a bond with him. You were this researcher on him, and you found him really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You probably went to the funeral.
Yeah, for sure. So what is special training?
Special training. I'm actually not super sure. You're gonna make me look in the book. I'm gonna have
It
to-
doesn't really give any details.
Yeah, this is also the
Player side.
short. This is the short. The short guide, so this doesn't go into it as much as everything
Isn't it,
else.
We can either do
There's no
special
roll.
training. Huh? Yeah, that's right.
No.
We can do special training if you feel like looking that up, or I can just try to go to therapy, not sharing truthfully. That would be my second option.
Okay, special training. Special trainings are things that are they're just very specific. Examples: parachuting, skiing, scuba, spacesuit operation, exotic weapons, hand grenades, deep knowledge of subculture, another country's criminal codes, lockpicks, electronic security system, inside knowledge of a conspiracy, fluency of a rare dialect, or black markets.
Wow.
So,
That sounds kind of cool.
black markets?
Without even have to roll, you should do that.
What are the mechanics of it?
Reduce a bond. One point from
So
bond,
you
like-
gain a skill with black markets. Let's see.
Are you going with black market skill?
I was thinking spacesuit operation.
Yeah, it might be
That'll
super,
parachuting.
super handy.
I don't know. What do y'all think would be a good one to go with?
Well, what do you think?
Well,
What do you think,
maybe-
Benji? What do you think? What do you think Benji would get into?
Yeah. Deep local knowledge, I'm sure.
Deep local knowledge would make the most sense story-wise. And that would kind of go hand in hand with sabbatical. It could be Turkish lore.
But hand grenades.
But on the other hand, hand grenades.
What about hand grenades? Well, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, you talk about black markets though. Like that's kind of like the idea of like accessing, because you've had to kind of get a hold of all this secret knowledge and like penetrate these cults and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that idea too. Like maybe, so if it's 2007-ish, there would be like all these super basic forums, like trading occult stuff. Maybe he's got like some.
I mean, the dark web's
Insight
there
into
at
those.
that time. It's not as advanced as it is now, but it's there.
Yeah,
On the dark webs.
I could see black market.
I'm just gonna give this a quick Google, like, and just see, because I want to make sure I give you something that's like, I really don't know how much skill to give you in it though. Like to begin with.
Yeah, it just says you gain that skill.
With a skill or stat. So it just gets applied to maybe an existing one as like a specialization.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. So, Benji, over on foreign language and other skills, hit the plus sign there and add it. And I would say that you can, it says here, criminology or charisma. So I'll take that to mean that you can use your criminology or your charisma skill to access black markets. And I'm pretty sure...
Where's foreign languages and other skills?
Down at the bottom of your skills in that little blank white box on the bottom right. And there's a plus button to add more there.
Alright, what should I put?
I'll just put black markets. And because this is what's in the book, it says that the skills you can use for this are criminology or charisma. I'm pretty sure your charisma is way higher than your criminology. Your charisma is 75.
Ooh, baby.
So if you want access to some black market shit, I might regret this, but it's what's in the book.
Oof.
That's what it looks like.
So
That you're
All that illicit-
75% proficient at accessing black markets.
first
think we're
roll
gonna
is a
do-
success. 2 under 75.
Go ahead and reduce a bond by 1 point.
I think we're gonna do pretty good at this one, guys.
You know, as you
Assuming
guys
y'all use this character, I guess y'all might not.
as you guys are and Benji, who takes the hit, the bond wise? Who takes the
Zara.
hit there?
I don't think she likes me getting involved with dangerous people like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Does Zara, does she come back to New York with you?
We're working on it. We haven't figured out the green card situation yet.
Ah, gotcha. It is post 9/11. It's things are complicated from coming from the Middle East. That's for sure. So yeah,
You know what I mean, John?
yeah.
No idea.
Jean has no idea. But yeah, and you know, you go to T Model Ford's funeral, and you know, and everybody's just beside themselves, you know, and paying the respects. Lots of huge blues legends and stuff. You're allowed into the private forum because you did have kind of this relationship, and you see his sister there, and she's just, you know, beside herself. She's an elderly woman herself, very much so. She's, you know, she just says, oh Benji, you know, they say he done OD'd, but you know he didn't. You know he drank, but he didn't touch the hard stuff.
I never knew him too.
You know, Benji, you know he didn't.
That's right.
And she just cries and cries.
I
Yeah.
pat her on the back and try to console her.
You want to hear me pick a mean one? Would that help?
No, Benji, it's too soon.
Okay. Never mind.
Sure, his guitar's right on his casket.
Yeah, it's right here. Just go ahead and pick it right up there. Just pry his clammy, cold hands off his guitar and just go to town.
Gonna pick one.
So yeah, so that is where you guys are at. Like you guys as characters, you guys' stories have changed a lot. It has been 20 years. Like man, Hank's got a lot going on, a lot of new stuff.
A lot of new friends.
A lot of new
So many
friends.
new friends.
Benedict has gotten weirder. Like Benedict has just gotten weirder. Like he's gotten a little bit of a, I don't know. Well, did we ever cover how you made this illicit cash? Like,
Yeah, it was through art.
oh yeah,
art
through
sales.
art, possibly illegal art dealings.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a little bit off the grid. His relationships are really suffering. And Benji has just gotten deep into the unnatural, deep into the occult. And I guess he got a girlfriend out of it? Question mark. But it's, but still, like you've all lost a lot of important people in this time. You know, you have the meeting with Marcus in 2003, where he kind of tells you to watch your back, and ever since then, you know, each of you probably has at least a time or two where, throughout the years, where you know, you could swear that you're being tailed, or that there's a time or two where you pick up your phone and you could almost swear that you could hear like odd sounds on your phone, thing like that. Benji, you are haunted by this clown kind of wherever you go. And it is one of those things that even as you're messing around this occultic stuff, that you constantly kind of see it pop up here and there. I would say that Benedict has some weird stuff, but it sounds like he's just making his own weird stuff. You know, maybe sometimes
Because if you surround yourself with enough weird stuff, then everything is weird and nothing's weird.
after a while. Well, you know, it's like, and sometimes as you're sitting there, you're sitting there and reading. Sometimes you read to Michelle's statue. You know she loved to read.
Oh, she's listening too.
Yeah, and you're reading, and you could almost swear for just a second that Papua New Guinea. You can almost swear that Papua New Guinea starts to whistle whatever happened to Abby. Just a few notes of it.
The pigeon?
Yeah, the pigeon.
Yeah.
You can almost swear you hear it.
Jesus.
And you know, and Hank, as you're sitting there with Reginald, your therapist. He's, you tell him all these things, and you know that he just thinks that these are all delusions, but you're paying him well, and he's not going to report you as being absolutely nuts back to the marshal service. But sometimes as you see him write down on your notepad, you just get a little bit nervous about what he's writing down there and where it's going to go. But you're getting it off your chest bit by bit. But guys, I think that is a good end for our session 0 for season 2.
Sweet.
As we get ready to move on into the next chapter of Impossible Landscapes. I am...
So this means everybody chose to do the same character again?
Yeah. I'd kind of put it out there if you guys wanted to switch something up. That sounds like...
I mean, I still haven't made my mind up, but I gotta say I'm leaning more towards Benji now. That he's gotten...
Some
that
edge.
he just rolled really fucking well.
Just on the meta reason that he's
Yeah.
that he's really.
But also over 20 years, you can change his character would have changed a bunch.
Well,
from what it was.
see, and you guys are
Probably, yeah.
and you guys are older now. Like Hank, especially. Hank was what, 40, 45? I mean, he's in his 60s now. Like, in 2015 when we're getting ready
A bunch
to
of homeless people.
yeah, with a bunch of homeless people living in his home. But yeah, so next time, guys, we are gonna pick up in 2015. So have it on your minds. Hey, we're gonna be in New York 2015. Have it on your minds. What is Hank? What is Benedict? What is Benji? What do they look like in 2015? What is going on for them right then? Like, have you found a way by 2015 to get Zara to the States? Has Benedict moved to an actual bigger apartment or a smaller, weirder apartment, perhaps? Has Hank had to build a bunch of bunk beds in the living room? Like, what's going on? And just kind of have that in mind. But for everyone watching or listening, I want to thank you for tuning in to our little session 0 as we do our little bit of an epilogue and a little bit of prep for season 2. And listen, head over to r/greenboxgaming. Give us a subscribe or follow or whatever the hell it is on there, and let us know who's listening. If you want to hear the episodes a week early, consider hitting up our Patreon, which is also linked there on the Reddit, to support us so we can get some better, more high quality assets and stuff like that, so that we can continue to make something good for you guys. Do you guys have any last words before we get off here?
I'd like to say hi to Steve.
It's always with fucking Steve, man. But yeah, well, thank you guys for joining me for session 0. For those listening, also, there is going to be a week. We're going to kind of take a week off. There's going to be a delay. We're just going to do this episode here. And then, by the time you listen to this, never mind. Ignore that. Forget I'm speaking.
Nice.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so it was great to meet with you guys today. And we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later.
Deuces.